Hey guys, Jared James here, and welcome to episode 10 of Today with Jared James, where today I am going to be talking about why I switched my Instagram account back to a personal profile, okay? As always, guys, if you enjoy this, do me a favor, give it a 5-star review, leave something nice, share it with somebody that you think would benefit from it, and subscribe. Subscribers, we've been doing really good with that. We found out that we're a top 200 business podcast, which is obviously really cool, and it makes me feel good about doing these, this ongoing content stuff. So really, really cool, guys. Thank you for that. As with most of these topics, this one right here is one that really comes from the questions I get from you guys, and we actually tested this out. So today's podcast, while it may be quick, it is not something where I'm guessing on something or it's just my opinion. We actually tested this out. And it's one of the most common questions that I get from people is they finally get the idea, yes, you need to be on Instagram. I get it, right? And I hope all of you are following me on Instagram. You can do that. I'm at Jared James Today, just like I am on everything, or you can just go to connectwithjared.com and do it that way. But it's one of those questions where everybody wants to know, do I do a business profile or do I do a personal account? And I've gotten people who have said, well, you have to do a business profile because it's your business. And my response is always, no, it's not. It's your life. Like, I don't go on there. I mean, I'm only promoting my life. I'm only highlighting my life. I'm motivating people, or I'm giving them videos from me, or whatever it may be. That's not a reason to make that decision. But this was still quite a debate that we had in my office for quite some time. And it really came down to a couple things. There are things that you get as a business profile that you do not get on your personal profile. One of the main ones is the ability to promote right from your app. There's analytics that you get. Once you're over 10,000 followers, you have swipe up features that you get. There's all these types of things that you get. And the main one, especially for you listening to me right now, is that ability to promote right off of your app, right out of the Instagram app, because it makes it easy, or at least, we thought that it was going to make it easy to promote to whoever we wanted at any time, and you could put up anything you wanted any time and put it to anybody in your area. And there's power in that because we want to have followers. We want to have people listening to what we're saying, right? What does it matter if you're saying something and no one's hearing it? Visibility trumps ability. So we tried this. Now, I was a little, I don't know if sheepish is the word, or tentative is probably the word about doing this because, Facebook purchased Instagram years ago. And so when you look at the model that Instagram is most likely going to follow, they're probably going to follow very similar to what Facebook did because Facebook owns them. And so that was what made me really tentative, was the idea that, I don't know how many of you remember, but Facebook business pages or my Facebook fan page used to get the exact same reach as a personal profile, okay, organically. It would just happen. You didn't have to promote it. You didn't have to pay for it. Now, for a lot of people now, or who are getting into the game now, that almost sounds absurd. You can't even fathom that. And yet, that's what used to happen. And that was what they said in the beginning was going to continue to happen. And then little by little by little, they started dropping that organic reach and dropping that reach to where you had to pay in order for anything to be seen, which is completely within their right. But the problem was in the beginning that's not what it was technically supposed to be. And they also said back when you created a business page on Facebook, hey, if you don't like it, you can switch it back. There used to be an option when you were on your personal profile, you switch it to a business account, but then you also had the option to switch the business back to a personal if you didn't like it. And so now Instagram is essentially saying the same thing. Instagram is coming out and saying, hey, switch to a business. I mean, for all of you with personal accounts on Instagram, it's probably in front of you every single time you're opening the app. Switch to a business, you'll get this. If you had a business, you'd get this. Give it, and they go business, business, business. And if you don't like it anytime, you can switch back. So we wanted to try it out for two reasons. Number one, because if it's better for my business, then I want to do it. Reach matters. But the second reason is that I needed to have an educated answer with the numbers of people who are asking me, business or personal, when it comes to Instagram. And so we decided to do it. And we spent, I think, a little over 3 weeks, almost a month, as a business account, switched it over. I was a little worried because we knew we could switch back. But who knew when all of a sudden they were going to go, hey, never mind, you can't switch back. That's what Facebook did. Facebook said forever you could switch back, and then one day it was just gone. Similar to Facebook lists. They're now about to be gone. And so I was worried trying it out that would get pulled out from under us while I was a business account, but luckily that did not happen. Okay, so we decided to do that, and in some ways, my fears were justified in the sense that the organic reach when we switched over to a business profile just about cut in half right away. And that's before any prolonged, they'll probably continue to cut the organic reach when it comes to your Instagram business profile. But I was getting about half the reach. And to the point where what we were actually using it for, which was the promotions, we would go to promote, and people who followed me organically were commenting on the promoted posts because they never saw the original post, which brought up another issue, which was that the promoted post straight out of the app didn't just promote the actual post that I had put up within my Instagram app. It created the exact same post and ran it as an ad separately. And that kind of killed the whole point of being able to promote the actual post that I had put out for that day and seeing how that reach was. And so that didn't really help, because the moment that it started creating it as a separate ad that just mirrored my exact post that I had put up that day, I can do that through Facebook Ads Manager. When you go into Facebook Ads Manager, you have the option when you create something to edit its placement. Where do you want it to be placed? And through the Facebook Ads Manager, you can have it placed in the news feed. You can have it placed on third-party sites. You can have it placed over in the right side view. You can have it placed in mobile view. You can have it placed on Instagram, right? You can have it placed on Instagram stories so that now your ads start showing up in stories. And so once we started weighing all of this and we realized that essentially everything that they were giving us through the business account, outside of the swipe up feature, we could do through Facebook Ads Manager. The analytics were given to us through the Ads Manager, not at the same level that the analytics are going to be on your business profile. The analytics are a little bit more in depth, but to me, I had to make a decision over which was better. Do I want the greater analytics, or do I want more people to actually see my stuff and engage? And the truth was, I didn't get involved on Instagram for analytics. I got involved on Instagram for engagement. And so that was my North Star. That was my, well, if I'm not getting that, what's the point? If I have to pay to get it, what's the point? And I'm not anti-pay, by the way. I'm all for Facebook ads and social ads in general. I'm just saying, why do it when you don't have to? What was the point of me building up the following that I have today if ultimately I'm just going to have to pay for those people to see things anyway, when I can easily click a button, switch back to personal profile, and start having people see that? And it was funny because like the very first post that I had put up, right after we switched back to a personal account on Instagram, got, I think, double the engagement of what my highest one had when I was a business account, okay? And so it just shows that organic reach was not the same switching to a business. So look, I can see why people would decide that it is something they want to do. I can see if you're trying to just promote to people locally to see your stuff, you don't have any followers, it can be a way in a short term to try to start to gain a little traction, get people to know about you, to gain a following, to do that. But for the most part, when people now ask me and they say, should I do a business profile or should I do a personal profile? My response based on actual data, based on what I actually did, is going to very simply be that a personal account, especially for the long term, again, when you look at what Facebook did with business pages and personal profiles and everything else, and I think Instagram is going to the same place, I would much rather organically grow a following and allow those people to see what I'm doing, get them to start turning on notifications. By the way, that's another way, guys, you can really leverage the people who already follow you, is run contests, run things where one of the things people have to do is turn on the notifications. So every time you post something, it shows up. Why do you think people like Gary Vee and others do first in line? It's just a way to get people to start turning on notifications and seeing things quickly, because really what they're trying to do is game the system and not rely on an algorithm. Because when you're relying on an algorithm, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's any company that's out there, Google, when you're relying on an algorithm, you are essentially, leaving it in their hands to see whether you're seen or not. And so the greater point is, I would stay personal. You're going to see us continue to run contests to kind of game that algorithm to stay in people's feed, not just by them engaging with us, but also by getting them to turn on notifications for my posts, because we create it because we want them to see it, right? It always cracked me up back in the day when you look at how the algorithm works, even on Facebook, and people would say, hey, it looks like you liked your own post. Who would like their own post? It's because I knew the algorithm that if I hit that, it now showed up in front of more people. And ultimately, it cracks me up the number of people who act like they put things on social and don't care how many people see it. Why did you put it out publicly if you don't want people to see it? The goal is to have as many people as possible see it. The goal when you put a video out is to have as many people as possible view that video. There's nothing wrong with that. So the idea of acting like, oh, I put it out there, but whatever, who cares? I don't do it for views. Well, what the heck do you do it for then? Right? There's a difference between becoming so like-centric that your self-esteem is built up in total number of likes, or your self-esteem is built up in total number of views, and simply believing in your content and believing that the more people that see it, the better. And so taking all of that into account, knowing that for me, it's about engagement, and it's about those people who have chosen to follow me actually seeing my stuff, my answer is clear. I went to a business account and I switched back to a personal, and I'd probably recommend it for a lot of people going forward.